Right, here we go. Morning everybody. Thanks for joining me and welcome to today's offering. But first, here is the weather forecast. It's bloody hot, and it has been for the last 2 or 3 months. Very, very hot. Haven't had no rain for as long as I can remember. Temperatures are averaging around about 36 Celsius per day. Extremely hot. It says that it feels like 40, 41, 42, which, yeah, it does. You can liken that to walking into a sauna. So walk out your front door, walk into a sauna, that's what it feels like. So you need to be very careful, drink plenty of fluids, cover up if you go outside, try not to stay outside too long, and just be sensible. Right, let's get on with it. Today's vlog is about our trip to Manila from Vigan, which is around about 430 kilometers. Manila's about 430 kilometers from Vigan, where we have to negotiate national highways, expressways, motorways, etc. I had to go there to obtain a legal certificate. I won't tell you what that is, I'll tell you later on, but I had to make an appointment and attend the embassy, and had to put my hand on the Bible, put my finger on the signature, swear an oath. I was in and out within 10 minutes, which brings me to the journey. 10 minutes for a 25-hour round trip. Now we decided to rent a car. The car rental was $4,000 per day, which included the usual full tank of petrol, and you obviously had to return it with a full tank of petrol. Before we left, I decided that we were going to go on the national expressways, which shortens the journey. There is a highway that goes all the way down, right honey? Yep. But it takes the national highway, but that takes around about 10-11 hours. 400 it's just too long, so the national highway cuts that journey almost in half. So that's what we did. Anyway, the journey started 8:30 p.m. Sunday night. I thought we'd drive overnight because there would be less traffic. So we worked the route out, and the first part of the route was leaving Vigan using the national highway. What was it called? The MacArthur Highway, which takes you all the way down to a place called La Union, which is around about a 4.5 hour, 5 hour trip to the beginning of the first expressway. The first expressway is called the T-Plex. T-Plex being Tarlac, Pangasinan, La Union Expressway. We joined it in La Union, and it's around about 90 to 100 kilometers long, I think, down to the next section. We joined it in a place called Rosario, right? Yeah, Rosario, La Union. So we got to the first barrier, and the guy was asleep in the booth, the first toll booth. He was asleep. I tooted the horn and he looked at me, woke up, looked at me, and just opened the gate, and through we went. So I was assuming that we drove all the way down to the next toll booth, the exit, and then that's where we paid cash. So I was assuming that we paid cash for all the tolls. Wrong. Because we traversed that, what was it, T-Plex? The first one, the T-Plex. Yeah, got all the way down to the first toll booth, and we were told, do you have an RFID card, which is one of these? And I said, no, I thought we could pay cash. She said, well, you can pay cash here, but you're going to need one of these cards to continue your journey. So she gave us this card and also put a sticker in the screen of the hire car. It's okay if you own a car, you can use that all the time, but because it's a hire car, we could only use it for that journey. Anyway, basically we got this card and we got the sticker, and she told us that we can use that on the remaining different expressways. Nah, wrong. You can't. So from the T-Plex, we then entered the SC Tex.
Yeah, SC.
The SC Tex. We had to pay 390, I think it was, 390 pesos. And then when we got to the first booth on the SC Tex, we had to pay a further, I think it was around about 100. But we were told, she told me to swipe this card. Well, I went to swipe the card on the toll booth and it didn't work. I was thinking perhaps because it hasn't been activated yet, and that was the reason why it hadn't been activated, because there was no money on it. So we had to pull off the SC Tex, and find an outlet that you can top these up, which we were told a Shell garage or a 7-Eleven. You can top them up in a 7-Eleven. So we pulled off and got to a 7-Eleven, and my wife, walked into the 7-Eleven with the card and said, "Can we top this up?" And they went, "No, you need to go to a Shell garage." Luckily there was a Shell garage about a mile up the road, but by this time the traffic was building up a little bit. It took us half an hour to get there, but we got there, and the guy said, we said, "Can we top this card up here?" He said, "No, do it at a 7-Eleven. So we had to drive all the way back to the 7-Eleven. Ia went into the 7-Eleven with the card and said, "Can I top this card up?" And I went, "Yeah." Well, I don't know why they didn't fucking say that in the first place, because we've just wasted a journey there and back, which took at least an hour. So it was either that or change route and go the long, not the long way round, off the expressways, which would have put another 3 hours on the journey, which we didn't want to do. So after a lot of mucking around, managed to add the account. We registered the card basically and put 1,000 pesos on it, thinking that was going to be enough for the rest of our toll journeys. Well, it would have been if it was just one card that you needed. And we didn't find that out until we got to the next expressway, which was the NLEX, which is the North Luzon Expressway, where we swiped this card. Didn't work when we was told it would. It didn't read the sticker because it is a different system. The different system being what was it?
Easy Trip.
Easy Trip.
So
Easy Trip.
We have the auto sweep. They wanted the Easy Trip one.
Yeah, so we already had the auto sweep topped up, but he was telling us, the booth operator was telling us, that we needed the Easy Trip card to use the NLEX. I don't know why they don't just use one card for all the different expressways, but obviously they don't. So we had to pay another fee to get on, and I can't remember how much that was. I think it was what, 300? Another 300?
Yeah, or 400.
Or 410, wasn't
Yeah,
it? 410 pesos to get on the NLEX, which we thought we'd already paid for. Anyway, we travelled down the NLEX, and the girl that initially gave us this card said this will work on the Manila Skyway. Hoping upon hope that it did work, because when we got to the end of the NLEX, we then went on to the Manila Skyway route, and traffic was building up quite a lot by then, and if we got stuck at the barrier, apparently you can't pay cash, but there is one lane that you can pay cash, but it says on the sign above, no RFID, no entry. So we were hoping that this is going to work, and thank the Lord it did. The barrier just opened. It read the sticker on the screen, and the barrier opened, because we'd obviously topped this card up, and off we went on our remainder of our journey to the embassy, which I thought was going to be straightforward. The Skyway is a road that goes over the top of Manila, cuts out all the 2 or 3 hour, 4 hour traffic, and takes you straight down to Taguig, correct, honey?
Yeah.
Takes you straight down to Taguig. Now, this is where the problem starts, because we were using Google Maps. Google Maps can't recognise the traffic it can't recognise the Manila traffic system, because underneath the Skyway you've got another road running directly parallel underneath it, and the Google Maps was reading that one and not the Skyway that I was on, so hence it meant that I had to take the turn off to Taguig, right, honey?
Yeah.
To aim for the C5. The C5 road, which is the road that takes you up past the airport, past the runway, up to where the embassy is, up a McKinley Road leading to Upper McKinley Road. But because the maps couldn't read it properly, it told me to turn left. Well, I couldn't turn left because I'm on a Skyway. There's nothing to turn left into. I'd have been sort of like driving off the end of the bloody Skyway. So I had to go down and turn right off the Skyway. And this is where I got a little bit lost, because it was telling me to do one thing, like aim for the sign to Taguig, and it wasn't the right lane that I was in. So I ended up having to go all the way round in a big bloody circle. Where did I end up in? Paranaki?
Yeah.
Took about an hour to get round there. I mean, it's only sort of like 3 or 4 kilometres, but the traffic is absolutely mad in Manila. So we ended up going round and round in circles until I eventually found the entrance. Well, not the entrance. I managed to join the C5 route up to the embassy. So, I mean, this system, it will work if you've got both these cards. Apparently now you can use one card for both of the system. The reason why they're using different cards is because they're owned by different companies. Different companies own the toll roads, so you have to pay different companies. Therefore, you need a different card. It's a fucking nightmare. Anyway, we got to the embassy, or where the road where the embassy was, and we pulled up into a Petron station, right?
Yeah,
Shell station, petrol station, and there was a fast food outlet just up the road from there, but it was all one big complex, and you could park there. It was an hour free if you purchased something from the shop. Well, I refueled, so that was my hour free, and anything after an hour is 100 pesos per hour. The reason we parked there is because there's a footbridge that goes over McKinley Road into Upper McKinley Road. 5-minute walk up the hill, just on the corner, that's where the embassy is. So if anyone's thinking of going or driving to the embassy, if you can eventually find your way there, that's where you want to park, in the Shell station. Is it Shell or Petron?
Shell.
It's a Shell station. Park there, walk over the bridge, and it's just literally there. So as I said, I went through the security, no problem. People say that it's not very good, the embassy down there, because they don't speak English. Perfect English. They spoke perfect English. The system worked really well. Walked in, security guard walked me to halfway, another security guard walked me to the entrance to the bit that I needed to be in. I was half an hour early. The lady was sitting at the desk behind a glass screen. She looked at me and she said, "Come on, we'll do it." And I said, "Well, I'm a bit early." She said, "No, it's fine, come on, do it." I was there 5 minutes, done the oath bit, read something off the card, out, back down to the car, and that was it. I wanted to go home. I'd had enough, because it was quite traumatic driving around, and it's just if you foreigners do not understand. As a foreigner, I don't understand their road system, and even here, my wife doesn't understand the road system, doesn't understand all these cards, because she doesn't travel by car very often. So it's very confusing if you're a foreigner. You need to do a bit of research, which is what I did not do. So I suggest you do a lot of research, read up on this if you're going to be making any journeys on expressways, because it's an absolute minefield. It's a nightmare. So confusing. Anyway, Started on the way back and I was doing brilliantly. Ia was very tired, we'd had no sleep. Been driving 13 hours by this time, we had no sleep, so she fell asleep. But I was following the road perfectly well until we got to Edza, where for some reason I pulled off. It told me to pull off and go down this road. I pulled off and it was going in the wrong direction, so I ended up heading back to where I'd just been, where it said do a U-turn. So I looked up and there's a road sign up there saying U-turn, so I got in to do a U-turn. 3 policemen, 3, not 1, 3. No, you can't do that, pull over. So I pulled over, wound the window down. Traffic violation, sir. And I said, what traffic violation? What have I violated? They said, just a traffic violation. I said, well, I'm doing a U-turn. It says it up there, I can do a U-turn. Like 200,000 other vehicles are doing a bloody U-turn. Why don't you nick them? Anyway, they weren't having it. They pulled me over. Another officer he stopped the traffic on the main road and made me pull into the road aiming in the right direction. So I'd done complete U-turn and now I'm aiming in the correct direction, and started to say that I'm going to give you a citation. They said, you've got to come back down to Manila, and then my wife intervened, and I don't know what you said to him. What did you say to him?
Well, I said they cannot take your license and we cannot go back there because we're just on our way back home.
We live 10 hours away up in Vigan.
I said our journey is 10 hours.
Yeah. So anyway, I think the third officer took pity on us, and after a chat with my wife, which if she wasn't there I'd have been knackered, the third officer came up and said, right, I'm going to let you off this time, don't do it again. He's not going to know if I do it again because I've been gone by then, wouldn't I? But then he said it another time, he said it a second time, I'm going to let you off. And then he said it a third time. I think he was looking for a bag of sweets, you know what I mean? And with that I just said, well, thank you very much for that, and I'm off. So I just drove off. Eventually managed to find the correct route out of Manila, heading back towards, it was on the NLEX again, honey?
Yeah.
It was back on the NLEX, managed to get on that, heading towards the SC Tex, which this card took, but the NLEX didn't. So I had to pay another fee of 400 and something.
Yeah,
410 pesos to get from the NLEX to the SC Tex, Joe Tex, Disco Tex, Rolex, something X anyway.
Why?
I don't know, I've lost count of how many X's I went through now. So I'm on the NLEX, which is the North Luzon Expressway, heading out of Manila, and then I'm going towards the SC Tex, which it does accept this card and the thing in your window, in your windscreen.
Yeah, then the feedback.
Then we managed to get through that barrier okay, and then we got on to the T-Plex. Did the T-Plex accept this card?
Yeah.
So we're happy days, we're on our way home. We had to stop, I think we stopped Pampanga to pull off into a service road, into a service area where we had Mackie D's, and I had a power nap for an hour because by this time my eyes, and I'm really struggling. I'm very tired and stressed out because the journey was just a total stress out because of all the different things you've got to do to go through. If they took cash it would have been all right, and that some of them do, but some of them don't. And if you go to one that doesn't, you stand to get a fine over 1,000 pesos, which seems a bit harsh if you don't know what you're doing. Anyway, we managed to get back on the road, and our journey 6 hours after Pampanga was 6 hours 25 minutes back home. We eventually arrived home at 9 PM Monday evening, so 25 hours travel. So the moral of this story is, especially for you expats and you foreigners, if you're contemplating on making a journey, you might, you don't all live around this area, but if you're down in Manila, southern Luzon, and you want to do a trip, you want to hire a car and you want to use the expressways, as opposed to sitting on their old national highways for hours and hours on end, around the bends and in traffic. Do your research. I didn't, and I should have done. I just thought you could pay cash. At each cash booth, toll booth, you could just pay cash. So you go through, give them cash, and then off you go. But no, you need to have one of these. And another one. This is called Auto Sweep RFID, and the other one's Easy Trip. But you need to have both of them. You need to have 2 stickers in your windscreen. But if you're hiring a car, it just seems a lot of aggravation just to go through, just to traverse their roads. So that's it, basically. The moral of this story is do your research if you want to travel, or jump on a plane. I could have driven to Luwag, which is 2 hours up the road here, jumped on a plane, half hour down to Manila and done it. But the reason I didn't do that is because me and my wife wanted to do a day trip, thought it would be nice, bring the dog, we could stop off, you know, maybe go and see a site somewhere, veer off, go into Baguio, but it just didn't work out that way. We just didn't have the time, and I was just too tired. So our little road trip didn't quite work out as well as we planned it. So pretty much that's it. I've just thought I'd give you that information. Now, if you've got any questions you want to ask me about it, feel free to leave some comments down below. Or if you've got any advice, as somebody out there might know how to do all this for a foreigner hiring a car, somebody might be able to assist us. Let's try and use it as a forum where you can come on and give us some advice as to what we need to do, because it's very difficult. As a foreigner, it's really, really difficult. So any help will be gratefully received. So just like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for all your loyal support. Thanks for all the comments I've had. And Ron, or Reggie, as my friend Len would say, how about, who do I look like with these glasses on? Someone said Michael Caine. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. But if that's who you think I look like, fine. I think I just look like a Burnsy. Anyway, till the next time, be lucky, drink plenty of water, stay safe, stay cool. See you next time.